Hello and welcome back to SeahawkTalk. I'm Ed Habashar. It is Monday, April 20, and we had snow over the past weekend. What's up with that? We've got our first couple of guests coming up, and we'll get to them shortly. Want to show you our guest lineup first. Let's bring up the overlay, and our Director of Athletics in her regular spot, Jody Moradian. She'll be joined by Paul Batusoff, a junior member of our men's ice hockey team. He's also our president of SAC. They'll be followed by Maddie Villarreal from women's lacrosse, Dylan Ketch from baseball, both 2020 grads, and finishing off Monday, April 20, is our softball head coach, Janelle Iaquinto. Let's go to a nice clip first to segue into our first couple of guests. They will be Paul Batusoff and Jody Moradian. Before we hear from them, hear from Andrew Pizzelli at Lake Placid 2 years ago.
Down the right side with a wrist shot save made by Black. Rebound loose in the slot. Swung towards the net. Batusoff scores! Buckle up, Seahawk fans. It's a whole new game.
Very nice. We now have on screen Jody Moradian and somebody that has the name Paul Batusoff on it, but it looks like a stormtrooper, Jody.
Yes. That's how they play.
Well, in the age of coronavirus, that's outstanding PPE for Mr. Paul Batusoff.
I don't want to spread anything to anyone, so I'm covering my face, covering my mouth, taking every precaution I can.
Really appreciate it, Paul. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to see Paul. Oh, wait, I can't see him yet.
There he is.
Phew.
How are you guys?
Very good.
Sun's shining, not many complaints.
Nice.
Yeah.
The real stormtrooper and president of SAC.
Yep. One day at a time. Had a nice little takeover yesterday. I want to thank you guys for letting me do that. That was a lot of fun. I usually don't do that many things, I promise, but I try to do a couple of those every day. But yeah, it was definitely a very productive day yesterday.
Well, Paul, as I was saying it from the outset, we had snow here in Rhode Island on Saturday, Friday night into Saturday. What's the weather like out where you are?
Last week we had a little bit of rain, but it's warming up. It's 65 and sunny right now, and actually by Saturday it's going to get up to 80, 82, something like that. So all the beaches are closed, for obvious reasons, but you can still kind of sneak your way on there one way or another. But we'll see how daring I'm feeling this weekend. So we'll see.
You might have to put that stormtrooper mask back on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can get a little warm out there.
Yeah.
Well, we have you joining today's show because of your involvement with SAC. You're a part of a 6 or 7 member e-board where you are president, but a couple of years, or actually at the beginning of this year when Jody and the e-board addressed our freshman class with orientation, you mentioned how you were kind of forced into SAC. It wasn't a choice that you made, but how do you feel about it now?
I love it. So the gentleman that kind of forced me to do it, it was our whole house that was forced into it. And then I was the only one that kind of stuck around with it. I just enjoy going there. Free donuts, a good way to get your Sunday started. And just talk about sports, just kind of life going on at the school. And, I never thought I'd be the president of it, but just one thing kind of led to another. And I just love the people that help me out every day, both yourselves included. But yeah, just surrounded by great people all around and just happy to help in any way that I can.
Fellow board members and
Thank you.
Fellow board members include Ulysses Laller, a classmate and goaltender on the men's ice hockey team. How has your role as president been impacted with, we've got a bunch of 2021s on that e-board, Vanessa Frost being the lone 2020 grad.
So obviously we have a lot of juniors on that board. We're going to definitely miss Vanessa next year. Rumor is she might be coming back, though, to do one more year. So we'll see. Maybe we can drag her to a couple meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely get a little bit more banter from Ulysses, calling me addressing me as his superior, stuff like that. So he's a very good sport about it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work with any other people. Like they're great guys, they're devoted, passionate about it too. So I'm just surrounded by a lot of great people, honestly.
And coming off, just finishing up with D3 week, talk about the student athlete advisory committee's involvement with different things going on with with Division 3 week. How different it was this year compared to years past.
Yeah, so usually we plan out the whole week. Obviously, there's supposed to be a whole lot of spring games that go on throughout the week, and we usually do like charity fundraisers at those games. But obviously, with everything canceled, we weren't able to do as much. We did partner with Winner Winner doing their Buckets of Love campaign, which was rather cool. It's one of my favorite spots in all of Newport. I believe they're still doing that as long as this pandemic goes on. So just visit their website, winnerwinnernewport.com, and you'll find the Bucket of Love option. But yeah, just anyway, moving into this pandemic is we just had to, it was so many new routes and avenues for so many different people, these types of meetings, doing everything virtually. We kind of know how much power that technology has and how much we can really use it in a lot of beneficial ways too. So that's kind of cool. So it's little things such as Pags doing his daily Tabatas and showing people how to do little workouts at home. That's very cool. Nutritional help, a lot of people are starting to cook a lot more as opposed to going out. So that's obviously very beneficial also. But yeah, we just got to deal with what we can and I wish we were at games supporting our fellow Seahawks, but it is what it is and just got to make the most of it.
Yeah, you mentioned cooking. I was always looking forward to those donut eating contests during D3 week.
Yeah. Maz and Liberty both have some very good donuts that go for a good competition.
So what do you got cooking?
A little bit of everything. I'm very fortunate to be living with my parents right now, so I like going to the grocery store with them. It helps out my wallet a little bit. So anything from tacos to pizzas to pasta and chicken, a little bit of everything. I've been trying to eat a little bit less meat just because of everything that's been going on. But I still have my In-N-Out, my Chick-fil-A, I'll go occasionally. But it's anything and everything, a lot of vegetables, a lot of smoothies, stuff like that.
Did you say you get to go to In-N-Out Burger?
Oh yeah, it's open. It's all drive-through though. The line's 30 minutes though if you want to go. So I've only gone twice since I've been back over the course of the month. But I mean, it's so good every time you have it. It's worth the wait for sure. It's definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, so it's a long in and a slow out.
Yeah. And their motto is no delay. So I mean,
it's tough to hold up to that motto nowadays.
But yeah, I still love them though. I'll definitely always support them. They're one of my favorite chains by all means.
Yeah.
Jody, flashing back to 2 years ago, how we opened up this segment with a nice clip of Paul Batusov scoring that goal. Share with our audience some of those memories that you had. You were there in person.
Yeah, so I'm wearing my necklace right now that I got for when they won the CCC, and then got to do that with them. And Lake Placid was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and it was just the same weekend as the old Miracle on Ice team, but first out, and obviously we do have a nephew from someone on that, but just the spirit of it, to me, that's really how it was. They did so well, and just the way they represented South Bay, and oh my goodness, and obviously it was double overtime, so it was quite a heartbreaker, but I've never just been more excited in all my time in athletics. I've never been as excited, on the edge of my seat, and just what an experience. It was a privilege for me to be there with them. It was unbelievable.
Paul, does it seem like 2 years ago, or does it seem like yesterday?
No, it really does seem like yesterday. And like Jody said, it was just the whole spirit of it was unbelievable. Nobody expected us to go, not even ourselves expected us to go anywhere near that far. We knew we had a good team, and we knew we had passion and grit. But I mean, one thing led to another, and we realized we're oh my gosh, we're playing in the Frozen Four. We're going to Lake Placid, and it was definitely a surreal experience going up there. And then obviously in that semifinal game, Blake stood on his head and helped. There's no way we should have won that game, but yeah, he had 55 saves shutout. And I remember looking over at like Rizzo after the first period. I think we were outshot like 22-3 in the first period. They controlled the puck the entire time in our end. I remember like looking at Rizzo and we are just like, oh my gosh, like is this really what it's gonna be like? But yeah, we were up 1-0 thanks to Eric Udall, and yeah, we ended up winning 3-0. So that was a crazy game. And then obviously we all know what happened in that last game. That was a heartbreaker to say the least. But like yeah, the memories and the experience, and like I said, it was just surreal being there. So I'll definitely remember that moment for the rest of my life.
It's pretty cool stuff for a freshman.
Yeah. If you told me that, looking back on it, I would have never thought so.
And
It'll
now,
be cool as a senior, won't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I was just gonna say. Now, as we fast forward, your next season is going to be your 4th season as a senior. Talk about what you anticipate for the Seahawks in 2020-2021.
Well, first off, I hope we are. There is a Seahawks in 2020-2021. Yeah. So I mean, one day, I don't want to be negative, but one day at a time right now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We lost 2 seniors, which is a big loss. We lost Eric Lippa and Nick Holt. But I'm very confident with our group, and as you know, my freshman class, like there's 10 of us, and we're all very hungry. Like I said, we haven't won anything really too much yet, so we're definitely going to lay it all out on the line. And I think we got a really good group, and we got a good mindset. So I think it'll be an exciting year.
Well, we were excited to have you join us on the show. We knew you had to get up 3 hours earlier than you're typically used to get on the 3 p.m. segment.
Yeah, as long as the Seahawk Talks aren't at 8 o'clock in the morning, then I'm all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's noon here, so I've been up for a little bit, thankfully.
Well, how are you adjusting to the class time that you have? You have East Coast class time, but you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, so thankfully, only 1 or 2 of my classes really meet consistently, like on a week-to-week basis. Most of my classes are like project-based with deadlines. And we don't necessarily meet on WebEx just because I want to be as productive. So it's nice kind of just having the product, the dates and knowing when everything is due, and kind of just being on my own and managing my time and getting stuff done. But I have had a couple meetings where were at 8 in the morning. One of my internship classes, I was 8 in the morning, so I had to wake up at like 4:45 here and log in. So it was rough, but luckily I don't have too many of those.
Well, what was I going to say? I was going to say something really witty. I cannot remember. Really appreciate having you both on the show.
Thank you.
I know we were talking in Q, and that Stormtrooper was a big hit.
Yeah, thank you. I might have to log into a couple of my classes with it, so we'll see. Make the most of it, have some fun while we can.
If you do that, you just have to give yourself a rename on your lower label.
Stormtrooper. That's funny.
Stormtrooper 1.
Stormtrooper 1, yeah. That's funny.
Well, thanks for joining us on the 3 o'clock segment with Jody Moradian here on Monday, April 20.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I miss you guys. I hope all is well. And one day at a time right now.
Absolutely. We can't wait to have you back in Newport.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope to be back soon.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Enjoy your day.
Take care, Paul. Take care, Jody. That's Paul Batusov and Jody Moradian. I'm Ed Habishaw. We'll be right back with our next guest, Maddie Villarreal.
I know sports is important, but having the academic part along with it is a big plus. I've discovered in myself, a newfound ability to overcome adversity at all different angles.
our next guest, Maddie Villarreal, couldn't be with us right now. So we, anticipating that, made a call to her just after 12:30, and recorded an interview. Here it is now. Maddie Villarreal, how are you?
I'm good, Ed. How are you?
Good. Are you coming to us from in Newport or Portsmouth?
I'm in Newport now. I've been in Newport since the beginning of all of this, so...
It's good to take advantage of your full year lease, correct?
Yes, getting the bang for my buck for sure.
Well, you're a senior nursing major and also the daughter of our head coach. Bring us through what happened with you and your program when this shutdown first occurred.
Yeah, so we had been talking about coronavirus in our public health class ever since the news started coming out. And then we kind of assumed that we would be switching to virtual learning and kind of staying there. So it's definitely been a big transition for nursing in all majors. But now we're lucky enough to have access to some virtual simulation programs that we were able to use in past years too, but more so now that we have to. So we have like virtual patients. It's kind of funny to watch, kind of funny to do, a little bit awkward, but it's been awesome to be able to use that during this time. And so we have these virtual patients. We have case studies that we do. We have a bunch of different assignments just to make up for those clinical hours. And then we have about like 2-hour meeting times that we do over WebEx or Zoom or whatever to get to those hours. So it's been different, but it's been a good transition.
Yeah, I think I saw on the news too that Salve Regina's test scenarios are being utilized statewide.
Yeah, that was awesome. I actually shared that on my Facebook page because it is really cool because we have used those mannequins before. But yeah, the Newport Hospital nurses are doing simulation situations there so that they can better combat corona when it comes to them, as it's there now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Maddie, so the audience does know that we are recording this earlier in the day because you have clinicals between 2 and 4. What are you doing right now between 2 and 4?
Right now. What I was doing before was we have to come up with our own patient, our own case study. So this week is end of life. So a patient that's put on hospice or something like that. And then we have like a specific topic to focus on each of us so that we're not coming up with the case study, all 7 of us. So I'm talking about the spending aspect of end of life and how expensive that kind of healthcare can be. So that's kind of what we do every week. We split up topics, subtopics of a broader topic, and we're each able to talk about them in a 2-hour WebEx later in the day. So.
Well, people will be seeing you live during this segment, and they'll be saying, is she in class right now?
I am.
Is she doing double dipping? Where did you get this passion for nursing? I know your older sister and your dad have been involved in coaching you. Did this nursing passion come from somewhere else?
Yeah, it definitely did. It kind of came up out of nowhere. A lot of people have wanted to be nurses all their life. That wasn't really the case for me. My senior year of high school, when I was I knew I wanted to go to Salve. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But I took a medical physiology class senior year of high school, and interestingly enough, like that's kind of what jet-setted my choice to pursue nursing. We also had a family friend all throughout high school, for me at least. My mom's a teacher on the island, and one of her students had been diagnosed with leukemia for the 3rd time in her lifetime, and she was only a teenager. So my sisters and I spent a lot of our summers going to the hospital and visiting her. And so between that and my class, I really grew a passion for it. And that passion has only grown since being at Salve and being in clinicals and being in the classroom. So definitely not people's normal story. But
yeah. Well, Maddie, your passion as a lacrosse player also shines through as well. It seems like yesterday you were just arriving as a resident at Walgreens Hall on our campus. Your dad was so excited to move you in. Not only is he a proud father, but he's also going to get to coach you. Talk about how that decision impacted you coming to Salve, not just as a nursing student, but as a lacrosse player.
Yeah, I think going into it, I was definitely nervous being coach's daughter. I didn't want to really have that title, but it was kind of a good motivating source because I knew that I was going to have to prove myself, prove why I should be on the field. But the transition was really easy in that matter, and I owe a lot of that to my teammates. They never made it uncomfortable for me. I think between them, my attitude towards it, and my dad also. I try not to call him dad. A lot of times I call him Bill, which is actually kind of funny because I don't want to call him, like, it's kind of weird to call him coach, kind of weird to call him dad. But I've been lucky to have him as a coach for sure. I tried to put that daughter, father kind of aspect to the side and just be thankful that I can have someone like him who's so passionate about the game to be my coach. And I tried to learn as much as I could.
And your mom, Ann, has been to a lot of lacrosse games in her time as well.
Yeah, definitely my number one cheerleader. she doesn't miss it. Especially, I have a younger sister who's at St. A's too playing lacrosse, so she's been awesome being able to balance coming to my games and her games. So it's been awesome.
Maddie, you're at the top of the record books in a lot of categories in lacrosse. You almost got to a milestone in your junior year, but you were fortunately able to reach that milestone this early on in 2020. Talk about that.
Yeah, that was definitely awesome. You can't really describe the feeling that you have when you hit those milestones. And the team knows it, and that they've been a huge part of it. I wouldn't have been able to get to where I was without them, obviously. But just scoring that goal and then having everyone come hug you and stuff, it's just an awesome feeling. So things like that I'll definitely miss, but being with the girls is what I'll miss most, having them celebrate those milestones with you.
During this pandemic, I'm going to be asking all of our guests during today's show and perhaps throughout the week, what have you witnessed as your favorite story among all of this shutdown?
I don't know. My favorite story, I don't think I have a favorite story. I've been staying in Newport with my roommate Liv, and we've just kind of been like bored in the house, coming up with things to do. What we laugh about is how creative we've gotten in the kitchen, because we wake up and all we think about is what we're going to eat for the day because we don't really have anything else to do. I don't really think I have a story because I haven't really been able to get out much, but definitely enjoying time with her, enjoying the time that we have in Newport, getting out, going on walks every day. I think that's been the best part, for sure.
Your profession certainly has showcased a lot of great stories. Nurses on the front lines in medical world, but also front lines police-wise.
Yeah.
A story last year intrigued me. You guys always are involved with the Police Unity Tour, and I'm not sure if you know a lot about it in connection with your team, but I was tickled last year when 2 police officers from Middletown showed up at your team photo session, and I believe it got a huge startle out of many of your players because they're like, what's going on here? The police are showing up. So we're showcasing that right now on our screen to show that, hey, nobody was busted. Nobody was in trouble for anything. It was just great recognition for your team's program. Your dad's been part of it for many years, and one of your former goalkeepers who turned assistant coach also was a key player in that regard.
Yeah. Usually, a senior major in administration of justice are the ones that kind of take on that game and that fundraiser. But it was definitely funny when we were all thinking we were just doing a team picture and the cops came in. Had some people run the opposite direction, but no, it was funny. That's always been a great game to be a part of, and we get fun T-shirts that we can sell to people and things like that. So all those kinds of games are really fun.
So I know nursing will continue for Maddie Villarreal beyond 2020. What about lacrosse? Where will that take you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am not going to put my stick away for good at this point. I don't think I could ever do that. But lacrosse is always a big thing in our family. I have nephews now too, so we'll be able to teach them how to play. And we'll definitely try to do some pickup leagues, stuff like that. And next year I'll be in the area anyway, so I'll be able to be around the girls who are still on the team. So I'll probably toss around with them at some point. But yeah, definitely not putting the stick away for good.
Maddie, what message would you like to share, not only with your fellow teammates in lacrosse and your fellow Seahawks in athletics, but also your entire class of 2020?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that this whole situation has showed us how to deal with adversity in life. And that's a huge life lesson, no matter what your major is, no matter what grade you're in, whether you're a senior or freshman. It's just important, I think, to recognize that disappointing things happen, discouraging things happen, but life doesn't stop regardless of all of that. You just have to pick yourself up, keep moving. That's a lesson that we've learned on the field all the years of our lives. So I think it's just important to find the positive in such dark times. I'm a huge believer in what's meant to be will be. And so this whole situation, maybe it was a time for us to learn to what's really important in life, who we have when things hit the fan. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really a message, but that's just kind of what I've learned through this.
It's a great message, Maddie, and I'm sure not just your fellow athletes, but folks from everywhere will appreciate. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's Maddie Villarreal, South Virginia University women's lacrosse superstar. I'm Ed Habishar. We'll be catching up with Dylan Ketch after this short break. Stay with us.
3 allows you to be able to give yourself to other things. Not even just participate in them, but really get involved with them if you want to.
There's a lot of interaction. It's not just sitting back, taking notes. You're actually doing hands-on things and better preparing yourself for your major.
Camera loves me.
Welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Monday, April 20. My name's Ed Habishar. We've had talks with Jody Moradian, Paul Batusoff, and Maddie Villarreal. Now we're ready to talk baseball. I'm talking baseball. We want to catch up with Dylan Ketch, and he's got such a perfect name for that pun. Let's go right to Newport, Rhode Island, and say hello to Dylan Ketch. How are you?
Hey Ed, how you doing?
Very good. We want to catch up with you because not only is your last name Ketch, spelled like the first part of catch up, but also that's the position you play. You are a catcher for the Seahawk baseball team. But you weren't always that. You came in and you had to play outfield. If you wanted to get some playing time, you had to get to the outfield while Christian Vargas finished his 4 years behind the plate for the Seahawks. Talk about first arriving at Salve, being a catcher all your life, and then to get playing time, having to go to the outfield.
So when I first got here, went through fall ball, played a little outfield. It was a little weird at first. I really hadn't played outfield in a while. And actually, my first throw in like a scrimmage setting, I threw it. I was in left field, and I threw it straight over the backstop. So that was a good start. But I hit well in fall ball my freshman year, and luckily enough in the spring, I was able to get put out in left field, and it was a little nerve-wracking because I was playing at the college level now in a position I really hadn't before. But thankfully, it wasn't as bad as a transition as I thought it was going to be, and ended up being I really liked playing the outfield.
Yeah, and I remember that you started off in nice weather in Florida, and then we come back to the Northeast. But I think even in Florida, you were wearing long sleeve shirts back then. That became your trademark.
I don't know. I can't remember if I ever did in Florida, but yeah, my teammates always give me, you know, they joke around with me, and coaches do too. I always wear a white turtleneck, so the white turtleneck kind of became my thing. So I've been wearing one since, you know, playing cold weather. I always got a white turtleneck on.
It's the Catch trademark, and not many people know because you've only played the one sport at Salve Regina, but in high school you were a two-sport standout, which included scoring 1,000 points in basketball and being all-conference in both sports. Talk about the ability to play multiple sports and how that has helped you become an even stronger baseball player.
Basketball really helped me in high school to not only just like give me a little break from baseball, but it really helped me work on footwork and stuff like that. It really got my agility and quickness up to the point where it was going to benefit me catching. Coming into college, people said I always had good footwork catching, and I kind of attribute that to playing basketball and being able to play good defense and stuff like that.
How much thought did you give to trying out as a Seahawk with the round ball?
I give a little thought to it. I know it probably would have been a hard sell to Coach Sorella, but I definitely gave it some thought. But I really love baseball, so I knew I was good at that, so I wanted to stick with it and give it my time.
You are absolutely good at that, and we have to go way back to long before seasons really began to overlap in Division III college sports, to the likes of Scott Kopecky and Justin Hackley, who are in the Salve Regina Athletic Hall of Fame for not just two sports, the two that you've played in high school, but three sports. Football in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the springtime. Of course, that was also before Coach Eric Sorella got on board and said, hey, I need specialists. Because even Eric's dad, Steve, when he was our head coach, he had two-way players, meaning some of his pitching staff would also be out in the field, such as a Chris Haddad from Danbury, Connecticut. He might have been among the last ones. Justin Collette was also in that realm as well. But you're a two-position player. Ever thought of pitching?
Pitching would probably be not my best position. I did it when I was young, but I haven't stepped on a mound in years, and I don't think it'd go very well if I ever had to.
Well, Dylan, as the catcher, you deal with pitchers a lot. So talk about what skill set you bring to the table when it comes to managing the variety of personalities at any level, but especially when you go from high school to college, you have experience with a lot more different pitchers because of the size of the staff.
In high school, we really didn't have like bullpen guys. Like we had 3 starters that pretty much went the whole game, so it was only 7 innings. And so coming to college, you really have to get to know a lot more kids because you got starters, relievers, closers. And before every pitch, like that a new pitcher comes in, I go up and ask, what's working today? What do you feel? What pitches do you like? So it's definitely more in depth at the college level, and you have to know guys' tendencies and such.
It's a two-way street trust-wise, too. Talk about that. You have to trust what they're saying to you, and they have to trust you in terms of how you're handling their strengths.
Trust really goes a long way. To know that they can throw a pitch and it's not going to get by me, and they're going to put the ball where I want it. Also goes into the coaches. The coaches ask me if they think a pitcher's tired and needs to come out of the game, or he's got more. So trust is definitely a big aspect between pitchers, catchers, and coaches, just knowing what you're going to get out of everyone and who's going to give you what.
Dylan, when we talked earlier today, I mentioned that you see it at the major league level and perhaps at the minor league level as well. Guys that were former catchers in their professional lives, or even non-professional, tend to have a good avenue towards becoming head coaches or at least important people on a coaching staff. Is that something that you aspire to as well, in addition to being an accountant with your accountant major?
I definitely thought about it. Being a catcher, you see everything that goes on in the plays. So I'm able to see where everyone has to be, what positioning they have to be in. So I think catching really does provide a good avenue to be a coach, because you're closest to someone swinging a bat that's not swinging a bat, and you get to see the pitcher from the front, and you get to know positioning, what the pitcher's doing and what a batter's doing and what people are looking for. So being a catcher, I think, really provides some insight on being a coach.
And during Coach Sorella's preseason interview with us back in early March, we talked about what was then the big topic on the major league level, and that was sign stealing. What do you do as a catcher to prevent that? What do you do as a hitter to give yourself the best advantage?
So for catching, when someone gets on second base, I always tell the pitcher we go like sequences of signs, whether it be I put down multiple signs and they know which one to do, and it can go from just like first, second, or third sign into like outs +1. And so you can get, if I notice kids are trying to relay signs at second base, I can go out and say, hey, we got to switch it up. That also lays back into the trust thing, because I got to trust that the pitcher knows what I'm talking about, so they don't throw a fastball when I think a curveball's coming and someone gets hit. So it's definitely a cat and mouse game when we're trying to steal signs offensively and defensively.
And Dylan, you talk about a series of signs. This is a nice segue into a nice topic that you like to talk about, championship series. You, in your 3 years, which you've completed seasons in, have been involved in Commonwealth Coast Conference Championship Series. Talk about your freshman experience, sophomore experience, and junior experience.
Freshman year was probably the best team I've ever played on. We were the best team in Salve history for baseball. It was incredible because in the fall I thought we were good, but I really didn't know because I hadn't been here before. And then we started playing in Florida. I think we went 7-2, and we came back, and it was just like we thought we were going to win every game, and we almost did. And so getting into the championship, it was kind of not that we expected to win, but we thought it was going to be really hard for anyone to beat us. So freshman year was incredible. Going into my sophomore year, I knew we had lost some players like our shortstop and a few pitchers that were going to be really key to try to replace. So that season was a little tougher because we lost some good leaders, and it was more trying in Florida. I think we had a losing record in Florida, and it was really tough because we were relying on freshmen, and it was just not the best. And then losing in the championship on a walk-off was pretty heartbreaking. But last year was kind of a Cinderella story, being the 4 seed, I believe it was, in the tournament. And we caught fire at the right time and were able to win 6 elimination games and come out on top. And that one was probably sweeter the way we did it, just because I don't think anyone really in the conference thought we were going to, the way we'd been playing. So it was really cool.
We're showing that championship celebration with the banner on the screen right now. You're in your trademark winning uniforms of green tops and white bottoms. Talk about the new tops that debuted in 2020.
The new tops, yeah, the black ones, they're real cool looking. We were always asking our coach to get new uniforms, and we got the green ones my sophomore year. And then Madden Ward, our shortstop, actually, he really liked black uniforms. Me and him had him on our high school team. And so he was drilling coach about getting black uniforms, and then we did well on the call-a-thon and raised some money, so we were able to afford it. And I think it paid off. They look real good, and we played well in them.
You absolutely did. You were undefeated in those uniforms. So you're going to be carrying a win streak into next season. And I can say that about Dylan Ketch, correct?
Yes, sir. I'll be back next year. I was already planning to come back to Salve for a master's, so given that extra year eligibility is definitely a nice thing. It would have been pretty sad to go out just with 4 games not completing the season. So it'll definitely be. I'll be looking forward to coming back and actually being with the team again.
That's outstanding, Dylan. We're happy to have you on the show, and we're happy to have you back as a member of the Seahawk baseball team in 2021.
Thanks, Ed. It was good to talk.
Same here. That's Dylan Ketch, Salve Regina starting catcher and senior accountant major on the Seahawk baseball team, along with a star pitcher, left-hander Patrick Maybach. I joked with Patrick 2 weeks ago when he filled in for Eric Sorella on this slot. Are you guys always on the same spreadsheet? And it looks like they are. So good to have 2 accounting majors in the battery. My name's Ed Habishaw. We'll be joining our head softball coach, Janelle Iaquinto, after this short break.
Division III schools offer academic scholarships instead of athletic scholarships. This really puts the focus that the student athlete needs to maintain that GPA.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Hello and welcome back to Seahawk Talk on Monday, April 20. My name's Ed Habishaw. I've got Janelle Iaquinto in queue. And let me get her lower third ready, which means graphic that tells you who's on with us. Hello, Coach. How are you?
Hi, Ed. I'm well. How are you doing?
Very good. 2 weeks ago, we talked with you, and we got to go to the beach. And then how about it, less than a dozen days later, there's snow on the ground.
I know. The weather in New England is crazy. I mean, it's and even on the back end of that, the next day it was like 55 or 60 degrees out again. It's been spring weather, and it's funny because a lot of people have been commenting to me that know me and that I coach. They are, saying the irony of having such a warm spring without any snow, and it's the one year that we're not playing.
Yes.
And they're right. We pray and hope to have weather like this for baseball and softball.
Until the snow of Saturday arrives. But, however, I'm sure Topa Field could melt that away very quickly and you'd be up and playing in no time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Topa's great. I mean, getting the turf has been a blessing. We don't have to worry about, field conditions. It's really just the weather and the temperatures that day. And the turnaround time for us is tremendous.
Coach, this past Saturday was Senior Day.
Yes, it was. Did you get a chance to check out some of the footage? I know I sent some to you because I thought you'd really enjoy it.
I have both parents in queue with their audio if and when you want to go to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, it was. I still laugh about Ali Guzmano's dad sending his clip. That's probably one that I know people will love. But yeah, we did have senior day on Saturday, and I didn't want the day to go without recognizing Ali and Maddie and Karina, but it's just been a challenge to do that virtually online. But what we did was we tricked them a little bit. I was on a Zoom call with the 3 seniors, and they know I'm not very tech savvy. So in the middle of a sentence, I just X'd it out, resent them the login, and they joined with the rest of the team, and they were all waiting there saying happy senior day. And we were able to share the screen and show the whole video and also see the reactions. The girls were so surprised. They had no idea, and I think were really shocked when they saw their parents and some of our alumni come on and just wishing them well and congratulations. So it was a really cool thing for us to do, and I know they'll have that video forever, which makes it really special for them.
So you are tech savvy. What are you talking about?
I am not.
How did you pull off that Zoom switch?
I think it's happened so many times that I've gotten good at messing up my audio or, my captioning. But my assistant Holly is tremendous. We were talking about what we could do, and I said I'd love to have some video of parents and people, and I just don't know how to go about putting that together. And over the course of the last week or so, it kept growing. We'd say, oh, let's put this in, or oh, let's put this in. And I was so impressed with that final product. I know Holly spent so much time putting that together, but it's just a wonderful tribute to the seniors, and again, something that they can at least keep with them. And we're going to plan to honor them, of course, in the traditional sense when we can, hopefully in the fall when we're all back and there's a little sense of normalcy. And we've got some more ideas in the works for that.
And as you've mentioned all along, they are the first group that you've had for their full time from first year to final year.
Yeah, they are. It makes it really special, but also really hard right now too. That I really was looking forward to having that senior day and getting them on the field and really honoring them in the traditional sense. But they've done so much for this program. They have really jumped on board and helped create a tremendous culture, and they're so involved in the community, and they're good people, tremendous leaders, and I couldn't have asked for more from that group when I first came to Salve. So I'm so proud of them, so thankful for them. And it is sad, but I promised them that we would get them in uniform one last time, and their one request was, can we make sure Ed is there so he can play walk-up songs? And I said, absolutely, I will work on that.
The montage that we just showed, and I had shared it with Holly on Saturday morning, I had to throw in the clip of you swinging the bat in one of your practices this year because your team got so excited when you were going for the fences.
We like to have fun every once in a while, and it's been a while since I had gotten in the cage, in that sense. But yeah, it was really fun. I think they love it when the coaching staff gets involved, either in practice drills or we go out and shag balls, or they see we still kind of have it in our old age or older age right now. So it's fun to have those memories with the girls, and likewise when we're in the vans in Florida. I mean, that's always a time where it's a little bit more relaxed with the players and the coaching staff, and they forget that we're real people, we kind of have many roles and wear many hats, not just coach. But so the kids really enjoy it. I can't believe you just
well, as a college player, you were a 4-year pitcher. How much hitting did you get while you were at Siena?
I got, in games, I got some at-bats here and there, but our pitchers, we had to go through all the hitting circuits every day at practice. So the amount of reps we got were tremendous. But, coach was of the mindset that, your job and your primary function is really hitting. But for me, I ended up in relief my sophomore year and junior year, really, or the end of my sophomore year, I should say, and tail end of my redshirt year. But in that role, I was coming in and subbing in for a pitcher who was in the lineup. So I was getting at-bats and opportunities, and it was so great. And thankfully, they kept us fresh in practice. But I do believe you have to be able to teach what you know.
Yes.
And, I like to say that I do have some knowledge and experience there, but pitching was certainly my go-to role at Siena.
Coach, what can you say about both Paul and Michelle Guzmano and Karina's dad, Mr. Bushy, there, as far as what they contributed to your senior day?
I am so glad that you touched on this, Ed. I mean, Karina's dad has become an icon and a staple for Salve softball. The second that you hear his voice in the outfield and he's, big hit, it just puts a smile on everybody's face. And you know what, Karina, she's incredible, but you can tell she gets a lot of her character from her parents.
Oh, yeah.
They're so kind and so supportive, and every time that they come to games and they talk to the team, they're always complimenting the team as a whole. And it's so wonderful to have parents like that in your community and in your programs. So I mean, they're just generous and kind and supportive, and that's absolutely where Karina gets it from. Paul and Michelle I'm gonna miss them so much. They're wonderful, and their time and their generosity has been paramount for us. I know that Paul and Michelle have been very instrumental in getting our Friends of Salve softball and trying to get that parent group and that alumni group going, and they've had tremendous success, and they were a blessing for me when it comes to planning spring break in Florida. I mean, they just take on everything that they can and make sure that the parents know what's going on, and that we always have good snacks and donuts and cupcakes. Our kids love donuts and cupcakes. I mean, who doesn't? But they've been wonderful, and I just enjoyed getting to know them on a personal level. And again, they're so proud of the program, and they love coming out to games. I don't think they miss games.
No, not at all.
They're tremendous people. And Allie she's just a wonderful kid. I mean, you've gotten to know Allie, and she's just so respectful. And both Karina and Allie are going to make tremendous nurses, and they're just compassionate and very giving. And, they certainly get that from their parents.
Well, let me show the audience what you had sent me. We've flushed it out to full screen effect, and so we've got the audio with it as well. At the end, you can let folks know where to find the full version on your YouTube link.
Paul, we discussed this is not a game. The games are canceled. We're not going to be doing any more games this year. I'm sorry.
No games?
No games, baby. I'm sorry.
What am I going to do with all these shirts?
We can make masks.
Hey everybody, Friends of Salve selling COVID masks. $29.95. Get them while they last.
Hi girls, hi Karina. Salve Regina Softball. I'm very sorry that COVID has ended your season this year, because I think the team was definitely going to be a playoff contender, if not the champion this season. You were really looking good. Anyway, I have something to say to all of you. First of all, base hit, base hit! I'm going to miss being able to yell that out to you guys and encourage you. We lost as well as you guys playing. We lost the thrill of watching you play, which was good. And big hit, big hit! Drop the bomb! I'm going to miss that one too. Just remember, every time you get a base hit, you take a lot of pressure off the coach. Every time you hit the bomb, forget about it. Coach don't care no more. Anyway, girls, you all have fun. Karina, I'm sorry this was your senior year and it ended this way, but we're very proud of you, love you, and it's been a lot of fun watching you and Salve softball do the things that you girls do. Love you all and miss you. Come.
That's Steve Bushy, filmed by his wife Devin. Tremendous message to the Seahawks softball team, not just the seniors, but the entire group. Coach.
They're amazing. I mean, Steve says to me so often, I love when they get the big hit. He goes, and I love your reaction too, because you can just see it on your face, how happy you are and how much pressure is taken off of you. Again, he's just incredible. And he does his, JC, hit it here, hit it here. And the other team just doesn't understand. They don't understand. But
they're looking all over the place. Where is this guy?
Yeah.
Where is he? We hear him.
Yeah. I've done the same thing coaching. I'm like, I can hear him, but I don't know where he is right now. And I love the clip of Allie's dad, sitting there staring aimlessly, waiting for softball patiently. They're so comical, and they bring such a lighthearted, sense of relief to the whole situation with us right now. But yeah, I was laughing pretty hard when I got those videos, and I said to Holly, we have to make sure that these go in there.
Well, nice job with that.
Yeah, no, the video itself was I think it's like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and
close to 24.
Great. We had We had Taylor Perry and Kristen Hickey, Amanda Riley, and Michelle and Paul Guzmano gave a really nice tribute to the senior class and Madison as well. And, everything that she's been through and this class has been through. So it's really a tremendous video that was put together, and it's entertaining. There's a lot of great photos and memories and video. And so I really hope that, people who have an opportunity, can go and watch that, because it's worth the 20 minutes.
It sure is, and so evident of your technical skills now.
Holly keeps telling me that I know more than I do, but I'm not there yet. But yeah, she's done an amazing job with our social media and our footage and our posts online, and we have a few. We've got a big one coming up, probably sometime this week or next week, but we're going to start doing Instagram takeovers on our Tuesday takeovers. I think tomorrow it might start, and our Twitter following and our Instagram following has just skyrocketed in the last few months. So we're trying to come up with some really good footage and content to keep that going. But we've got one team challenge in the works. I think people are going to really enjoy it.
Well, that's good news, and you're looking good here. Hopefully next time we can go to the beach.
You know what? The next nice day, I will head back down to the beach. I was on the cliff walk yesterday, and
yeah, yesterday was nice.
It was, oh my God, it was beautiful. It was such a perfect day for that, and I'm fortunate that living in Jamestown and being so close to Newport that we can still get out on the cliff walk and walk to some of the close beaches nearby. But I was amazed at how many people were on the cliff walk yesterday, and people were wearing masks and doing things appropriately, but everybody was like saying hello in a time where people are feeling like they have to avoid people.
Right.
It was like, hi, and how are you, and beautiful day, and kind of going about their business and walking. But people have been really kind. And I actually saw Jen Rosa on the cliff walk yesterday too. I didn't recognize her at first, but
because of the mask.
Because of the mask, yeah. But it was nice to walk through campus and go by campus from that view and have the ocean on such a beautiful day. So next time I'll get to another good location for you guys.
Thank you. We're humans. We need that contact,
yeah,
visual and physical. So thank you for bringing me to the beach 2 weeks ago. Holly kind of did the same for me last week when we showed the footage of her wave riding.
That's right. That was on there. She immediately texted me afterwards and said, "Did you see what Ed put on?" Yeah, I'm really bummed about not having that Florida experience this year and being able to do some of those things with this group. But you know, it's that footage. Thank God for video and thank God for those memories.
And getting to use it, because I was told not to use it on 99 Seconds, but little did you know, we have Seahawk Talk.
You found a loophole. And we were staying at that same beautiful resort again, too. So the girls were bummed. I was bummed. I loved that pool. And, you know, the weather was looking perfect for spring break. But there's always next year. We'll be back. And hopefully soon enough, things will kind of become a new sense of normal for us. And I'm just praying that we do get back to campus in the fall and we're able to all be together again and start kind of reconnecting and welcoming all of the new Seahawks that we have coming in next year, which we have 8. So those kids are, I feel so terribly for them, Ed. You know, they're losing high school seasons and their proms and graduations, but I've been in touch with all of them on FaceTime and over the phone and text, and you know, they're all so excited about the Salve. And they just feel like they're that much closer to coming to Newport and joining the team and being a part of the community. So that's been wonderful. And a lot of them too, their parents already have a lot of Salve gear.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great. So trying to see that positive and the light at the end of the tunnel and just being patient and trying to stay connected with everyone. So thank you for doing this every week.
You're welcome.
It's a wonderful way for us to keep in touch, not just with each other, but the Salve community. And I saw Maddie's interview earlier today. It was so wonderful, and everything that, you know, she's doing, being able to celebrate her season and her hard work and just the relationship and kind of the really cool experience that her and her dad get to share this year. So thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. I got a few special guests that will be coming on, so
I'm excited.
I'll be sure to keep you posted.
Well, I'm looking forward to Seahawks softball next year, and I'm looking forward to Salve Regina softball on Seahawk Talk next week.
Yes. Thank you, Ed, so much. Have a good week.
Thanks, Coach. That's Janelle Quinto, Salve Regina softball head coach. I'm Ed Habishar. We've enjoyed talking with Paul Batusov, Jody Moradian, Maddie Villarreal, Dylan Ketch, and Janelle Quinto. We'll have another 4 guests, or maybe more, on Tuesday, April 21. See you then.